Hi, everyone, and welcome to How to Update the Program Profile in NHCIS with Karen Abbott. She is our lead Child Care Resource and Referral Outreach Coordinator at Child Care Aware of New Hampshire, a program of Southern New Hampshire Services. And Karen, take it away. And if you need any help, just let me know.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our call today. You either received this letter through email or some other form of communication from the Bureau Chief, Jesse Davis, regarding the funding that you can receive by updating your program profile. So that is why you are here. There are two funds that you can receive your funding from. One receive two types of funding you can receive. So there's a CCDF discretionary fund that's going to be distributed to licensed and license exempt providers who accept and have children enrolled in the New Hampshire Scholarship Program as of August 1st, 2024. And the second type is the ARPA discretionary funds will be distributed to all licensed and license exempt childcare providers. So if you update your program profile by September 11th at 11:59 p.m., which is this Wednesday evening at 11:59 p.m., you will have the opportunity to receive these funds. So in order to update your program profile, you're going to log into your accounts. I'm going to share my screen. I need a host to give me access.
You're all set.
Thank you. So you're going to go on to, hopefully my screen is sharing. Someone can just give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Nicole. So you're going to log into your New Hampshire connections, and you're going to go to your login account. Right here, you're going to go over to the login. If you don't remember how to get there, you can go right to this providers tab, and there is a spot where you can actually go over to get notes. But all you have to do is go right to the login tab over here that I'm hovering over and click on the NHCIS login page, and it will bring you to the covered bridge that we all know about at this point. And you can log in with your username and password. So if you forgot those, what you do is put your, if you remember your login, your username, you can put that in, and you can ask for support, which is just over here on the covered bridge, covering the bridge. So you will log in, and then up will come your tiles, which I'd hoped to bring up a screen, and I wasn't able to get in. But I heard that Terry Peck might be on this call, and I'm hoping maybe she will help me out here and share a page, which will show the tiles, but you'll bring up your tiles, which most of you should be familiar with at this point. Actually, it might be on this page. See the tiles. Yeah, this is what you'll see.
And Karen, Terry is on the call, and I did make her a co-host just in case.
Okay.
I'm here.
Are you able to show the tiles if I stop sharing?
Sure.
Thank you. I wasn't able to get into the account in time.
Okay.
But you'll see the tiles, and you're going to go into your childcare profile. When you hover over that tile, the title to the tile actually changes to your, it changes to program profile. So sometimes people get confused. It's the one to the right here that says child. So it says update program profile when you hover over it. So before it says childcare profile, and then when you hover over it, changes to program profile. And in here is where you're going to start with your updates. If you scroll down a little bit, so you want to make sure at the top that your status is updated correctly, your current enrollment, whether you're accepting children on a wait list, or you're not accepting children, is updated. And then your status is either nonprofit or for-profit.
Once you do that, make sure you hit save. So
Yeah.
that we'll keep those changes.
Yes. And then down in the next section on the left-hand side here, you'll see those tabs where the hours of operations and rates, the ages served and capacity, those are all the things you need to go into each one of those sections to update. So those were the items that were in the letter that were sent out in Jesse's letter. And you're going to go into each one of these to do updates. Very important is going into this hours of operations and rates. You want to make sure your hours are in there correctly. And then you want to go in and do your rates as well. And as you can see, Terry is hitting that pencil so that she can edit them. Then she's hitting the plus so she can add another row. If for some reason you make a mistake, you see the little trash can, that's where you can delete a row if that's something you want to get rid of. And then now we're into the rates here too. So she's putting in, it's really important to put in your weekly full-time rates. So we really need to gather the weekly full-time rates. And if you do not want your rates shared on the public portal of New Hampshire Connections, there's a little box at the bottom where you can check it and it will redact, it will block your rates from being shared to the public. But the only people that can see that, and it's not by your program, it kind of collects it just for statistical purposes for the Bureau to be able to collect this data, which is used basically for, it's being used for, you need it for reporting purposes for the Bureau of Child Development. They use
Right, and setting childcare scholarship rates. So in
Yes.
order for us to set accurate rates, we really need to know what people are charging. And then we're able to filter this out by location in the state and territory, different regions, so.
by counties and regions. And
Yeah.
stuff. They're able to report that to the Office of Child Care and for the federal requirements that they are required to report. But everybody can see that little box that said redact the fee. So you just check that and then it's not reported out publicly on the public portal. So it's just collected as blank, it's just blank data. Not blank data, but there's data being collected, but it's not tied to your program. It's just, this is a program in the Seacoast region or Rockingham County that's charging this rate. But this is really important information and data that is needed in this state so that we can continue to get money into the state for early childhood. So this is a really important section that we need every program in the state to collect. And then the ages served and capacity, again, there is a pencil there. And there's question marks next to a lot of these. So if you click on the question mark, it will give you more information of what's being collected here. It breaks this one down by the ages so that if you're not sure what an infant is considered, this tells you that infants are considered up to 12 months, even though I know a lot of early childhood providers consider infants up to 18 months. But this tells you what they're considering an infant. So just click on that question mark and that will help you figure out what they're collecting here in this group. And then you hit the pencil and you can edit those age groups. So the capacity is how many children you can hold. So your licensed number is already set by licensing. Your capacity is the number of children that you can actually take in. And that would be by your staffing. So your licensing may say you can take 8 infants. You may only have 1 infant teacher. So you actually may only be able to have 4 infants, but then your available infant slots would be what you have for vacancies at this time. So you may be able to take 4 infants, but you might have 1 opening right now. So that would be, you would have 1 available infant slot if you could take 1 infant. Anybody have a question about that at this moment?
I do. I have a quick question.
Sure. Go ahead.
So my question to you is, if we have available infant slots, is that meaning that somebody off the street could call right now and say, I have an infant, you can take him? Or is that meaning you have available infant spots, but I also have a lengthy wait list that I would then be contacting families off of?
So, well, if a person called you off the street, I would say that you might be putting them onto your waiting list, because my waiting list, I would be doing probably first come, first serve. So I would be adding that person to my wait list until I fill it from my waiting list. I'm not sure if I misunderstood your question.
No, I might just be not asking it correctly. I mean, right now I've exceeded my whole 2-year-old wait list and I have a 2-year-old spot. So if someone were to call me and say, do you have a 2-year-old spot? I'd say, absolutely, you can start tomorrow. But
Okay.
if someone were to call me and say, do you have a 2-year-old spot? I'd say no, because I'm working off of a wait list. Or would I say yes, but you need to get on my wait list?
I think that's your business decision, because it's your business.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would want on my end, if it was my business, I'd be wanting to fill that spot, so I have that income coming in. But I guess I would be looking at my wait list too, to see if I have any 2-year-olds on that list, or has somebody been on that list for more than a year that may have had a 1-year-old.
Right.
I'm actually wondering if her question, because I have the same one.
Okay.
So if your capacity for infants is 8, you have all your existing spots filled, you have a wait list.
You
do
probably
you
don't have
have
available slots.
Right, you probably
would
don't have
probably don't.
available spots. So I'm not sure if that's what Emily was trying to get at. If you have a wait list, you have 0 available slots.
That would be
Is that correct?
Yes, I would think so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And I see Melissa Scott has her hand up.
Hello. So I have a question going back to the hours of operation, because when I try to add in, so it asks you to either add day or add fee. So when you go to add the day, they don't give you an option to add like Monday through Friday. What is your start time and end time? So I went in and did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But then when I go to save it, it says I cannot have the same schedule typed twice.
You run a preschool?
We do infants to pre-K.
So are you?
So I put up top, I put like full year schedule. So I guess I'm confused as to, do they want each day what time you open and close, or no?
Yes, what time you open and close.
Yes.
So they only give you an option for Monday through Sunday, and you have to add each day. But when you do that and you go to save it, it says that you cannot have the same schedule typed twice.
But you can.
I just tried it like 3 times. I even deleted them and re-added them in, and it says.
So if I add a day.
So add a
right?
day. If you do like Monday, I did 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
But see, I already have Monday on here, so I can't add Monday again. But I could add Friday.
I guess I'm confused as to, what do you mean you already have Monday?
So you
Monday's
have
already up
something
here.
on there.
I already
Yeah,
have
see,
Monday.
and that's what I just did. But in my program, it's telling, like, I went in and added Monday through Friday, and my hours are 7 to 5 every day. But then when I go to save, it tells me that I can't have the same schedule typed twice.
Yeah, and I
I
don't
guess-
So
know,
I'm not quite sure why that's happening.
and I don't know what this, okay, that says cancel. Hopefully
But-
it's
So I
fine.
guess since you have in like Monday through Friday, if you have, do you have the same hours?
Yep.
Try to do save and see if it tells you the same thing it's telling me.
Well, it's not telling me anything. So I don't know. And it's not saving the Friday in there.
It's not letting me edit my rates.
That's a problem.
Oh, here I had to change the age group, but we have age group based on young toddler and regular toddler, but that's not an option. So which rate do I have two different rates for toddler.
So you would have 2 toddler entries.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I wonder, like, if I tried to
But
do two
You're not
school age
able to do
entries.
2 toddler entries. You can only do 1 per.
Yeah,
age
you're
group.
right. Yep.
So for me, I just chose like a median price of both because I have
Yeah.
multiple prices for
Okay.
the ages too.
See, that's helpful to know. Because I can get that updated so that people can put multiple options in there. But I don't know what's happening here. I don't seem to be able to add a day. Same rate. Oh, that's a rate type though. Where's my, oh, wait a minute. Add. Schedule type. All right, here we go. This schedule type is my full year. I'm open Monday to Thursday. But if I wanted to do another one, say it was my school year schedule and I have before school hours that are part-time. It's probably going to make sure school year schedule indicates a required field. Drop in not available, not 24 hours, not open on holidays. Let's just see if this will work. It's not saving it. Oh, is there something? Oh. And then add the fee for my school age. I don't know, we'll call it other part-time and see if it saves it. And I can't tell if it's saving it.
Did you hit save again?
Yeah, and it's not doing it. So that's a problem.
Oh, you had a red thing up there.
Yeah, it doesn't like the phone number.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. It does that every now and then. So, oh, maybe that's why. Maybe it won't let me do anything until I do that. I don't know. I'm not, obviously, I don't do, let's see, summer. No. 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 Full time. Add a day. Monday. Add a fee. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be saving it. So that's a problem.
Kelly, do you want to ask your question? I know you've had your hand up for a long time.
Yes, please. So I am school age only. So I have 2 sessions during each day. I have a morning and I have an afternoon, but it doesn't allow me to come up with 2 separate hours for each day because you can't put the same day twice. So should I just put like, my morning program is open from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and my afternoon program is open from 3 p.m. to 5:30. Should I just put on there that I am open from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.?
Yeah, and then I think there's the option to say that you have morning schooling
Yes.
and afternoon, and that's what I would do there.
Okay,
Yeah.
and now for my pricing, would I add the fee for the morning and the afternoon for my full-time rate? Cause I,
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
would do like, yeah, I guess I would consider, you could do
Like-
daily if you offer daily rate. Oh, but if you offer morning only, you could consider that part-time or afternoon only part-time. But this would be helpful too, to know what kind of rate structures people have.
yeah, but I feel like even if I tweaked it on here,
yeah,
no one looking at it would actually know what it meant.
right. You're right. You're right. This
Also,
definitely is an area we're gonna need to do some work on, I can tell.
I also can't save it on mine, just
Okay,
I assume no one can.
all right. So this might have to be an area that we're gonna have to visit later, and I really appreciate one, finding out that it's not working as expected, because it was working. And then I think what we'll try to do is get a survey out there to people to see what variations that they have in their billing, so that we can get a much more comprehensive section in here.
Can I also ask you, are we notified that we've opted in correctly after we've done this?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not that easy for right now. Yeah, that's not that easy. I'm just pulling reports and I can tell that people have updated things, but then I have to look and see that they've updated all of the things. So and I will show you now really one area that I don't quite understand why there's an issue with it, but that people don't, I can tell people have updated things, but they haven't updated all these areas. So one of the areas here is the other information. This is just ways for you to indicate to families different things that you offer. If you have certain multi-child discounts, for example, or if you have different schedule options. I know some programs it's full-time or nothing. Like, let people know what different type, if you have transportation, you're near the school, different things like that. And then you can update that, and it allows parents and childcare aware to help parents find childcare that meets their family's needs. And the other section that we really need people to update is this market rate survey section, which we did have a lot of people update in January, not nearly as many as we needed. And this is also part of our federal funding. So if we're not getting enough data, we're going to get reduced federal funding. But most of this is pretty straightforward, and hopefully you've seen before, just answering each of these questions. One thing that we added in July, I believe, and I have sent out emails to people. I got really low response rate. I also can see that a lot of people, even though they've made updates, have not updated this. It asks if you receive childcare scholarship reimbursement. So if you don't know what this CCDF scholarship, like, do you have families on state assistance, and do you accept that currently? Yes or no? If you say yes, it's going to ask if you charge families the difference between what the scholarship amount is and what you bill, what your tuition rates are. If you say yes, it's going to bring up an area for you to calculate on an average how much you charge based on the various age groups indicated weekly. So even if you charge families the difference monthly or bi-weekly, I need this number calculated out weekly. And there's a area up here that describes how you would calculate that. This just lets us know, what other asks families who are on state scholarship might be being asked, right? It is still an area that while they might be on state scholarship and you might accept it, they may still be unable to access care because it's above what they're able to afford. So this helps if you don't have children that you're accepting state scholarship on a certain age range, then you would just say not applicable. And then at the bottom, it just asks how frequently you do charge that. It does seem that programs that are charging it mostly charge it weekly, but I can tell by the ones that have, many that have indicated monthly, that the math was done on a monthly amount and I need it calculated out weekly. So this is an area where I can go right in and tell if you've updated this section specifically. And I'm doing that, and I will be doing that on Thursday morning to see that all the sections have been updated. And if they haven't been updated, you won't be opted in. There's no way for us to let you know before midnight on Wednesday if you've met all the requirements or not. And that's it. That's it for what needs to be updated.
So I did create a tips and tricks list of things to help people through this. I think what we're going to do is add quickly to it what needs to be actually updated so that you have that. So let me just bring the tips and tricks up quick. Oh, hold on, I have to bring it back up because I closed it. So a couple things just to point out, it's really important to give yourself time to do this update. Make sure that you're opening New Hampshire Connections NHCIS in Google Chrome so that it is operating correctly. Some people I know were saying that things weren't saving, and that may be one of the things to check, is to make sure you are in Google Chrome. There they are. All right, let me share this. Why is it not sharing? And then when you're on New Hampshire Connections, there is the NHCIS guide. There is the pages from the guide between page 33 to 37. It gives you step-by-step on how to update your program profile. And there is a link here for that. Nicole, are you able to put that in the chat? Actually, maybe I can connect it into the chat.
Karen, I also will be putting this out in the email that's going to go out
Perfect.
with the recording after this.
All right,
So
awesome.
any resources that we have will go out. And if there are any questions that people have, either in the chat or people that are raising their hands that we don't get to, then I can also find out who those people can contact as well if we don't have time to answer everybody's questions.
Okay.
And I can put that in the email as well.
And we will add to this tips and tricks the items that have to be updated so that it's clear that you know what has to be done. So I think at this point, we can.
And Karen, there is a worksheet available too on the New
Yes.
Hampshire Connection site. It
Yes,
does indicate that hours of operations and the rates, but obviously we are not going to hold anybody to that.
okay,
So the 67 people on this call are in the know about that.
all right. So at this point, I think we can open the floor to questions.
Excellent. I actually think Nicole is going to hand me those questions and I will go through them.
Yes. So real quick, can I just mention one of the most common questions that was asked, if we want to start by going over that, is if we can share exactly what pieces are required to update, and specifically, does that include the narrow cost analysis or workforce survey?
So it's just the market rate survey part of the program profile. So you are not required to do the narrow cost analysis or the workforce survey. It is just the market rate survey part.
And the profile.
And yes, the program
Yeah.
profile, which includes the operating hours and rates, the ages served and capacity, and the other information. And that operating hours and rates is really crucial. So, yeah, the now cost analysis and workforce survey, those are big pieces that are off your plate. Thank you, Terry.
Another common question that was asked, which I think Terry already addressed, but will we be notified if we opt in correctly? And somebody had asked, am I correct in assuming once everything is updated and submitted that we are opted in? I don't see a section where we agree or acknowledge we have updated and would like to opt in.
I believe Terry already answered that question.
Yeah.
She did. Yeah. So somebody here said, I tried updating my hours and rates, but they won't save. Did we
So-
already address that?
Yeah, and we here at Child Care Aware of New Hampshire, we can also help you with that if you are really struggling with that.
I'll put our both our TA and our outreach phone numbers and emails in the email that we're going to be sending out after with the recording. Someone said we seem to have multiple accounts that show different tiles.
Well, if it's a multi-site program, they would probably have a tile for each program.
And they would need to update each and every one individually. And I see someone's asking too about the date. And if you look at your tiles on the child care profile, it will say last updated and a date, and that populates on the back end into a report that I get. And that's what I'll be looking at. And then I'll be matching up your data to make sure all the fields have been completed.
Somebody said, I'm increasing my tuition next month. What should I put in? Tuition now or what they will be?
I would say what your tuition is now, as of today's date.
Somebody said, what if we have yearly and not weekly or monthly rates?
That's a great question.
I guess since yearly isn't an option, you'd have to divide it out or something and determine which set of rates makes the most sense. But yeah, it seems like this is an area that it would be really helpful to get some feedback. And Karen, our Child Care Aware, and I will discuss how we can get the best rate options in and schedule options.
Somebody said here, and you might have answered this already, so excuse me, but please list what has to be updated: rates, capacity, ages served, hours of operation. Is that the only information that is required for updates? I think you already answered that question. Okay. Here's one. With the state passing licensed exempt With the state passing license exempt to have 4 children, can that be updated in the profile to allow us to select that we can have 4?
That actually is a programming change. So I will talk to licensing about them putting that request in with me to have that updated.
Excellent. And you know, Terry,
That's a good point.
I will send you these questions if you'd like.
Yes,
In
please.
case- Okay, just in case.
That
there's-
would be great.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank
just in
you.
case there's things that you can answer too.
Yes.
Great.
On that licensing exempt question too, I believe they could update their capacity. The provider can do that.
Yeah, somewhere it won't let you. Somewhere it will say, oh, that's more than your license capacity. I'm not sure which field that is in, but that
Okay.
can be an issue.
Here's a question too. What's the contact number for issues with NHCIS? Would that be just creating a support ticket?
Yes.
So instead of a phone number, it would be creating a support ticket. And of course, you can also call us at Child Care Aware of New Hampshire, and we'll be putting our phone number, our TA line in our outreach line in the email that we're going to be sending out. Let's see. How do you handle part-time vacancies?
Can you repeat that one?
Somebody asked how do you handle part-time vacancies?
Oh, part-time vacancies. So they may have like a Tuesday, Thursday slot, but that's it. So that has been coming up a lot, those questions on the vacancies, and same thing with like the total families they're serving. And that has become a great question. So it's like they have like a 2/5 vacancy, like it's a fraction vacancy. So that's a tough one. That we do need to get some more data fields to be able to put that in. So I don't have an answer for that yet.
I also noticed that some people seem to be having technical difficulties with entering in some information in their program profile. And I'm wondering, Terry, if that also is a support ticket. And I'll give you an example.
Sure.
Somebody wrote, we had our information inputted on Friday afternoon and saved, and now none of it is appearing in any of our accounts. We'd like to avoid having to redo this if somebody can help.
Wow.
So we can reach out to that. I'll reach out
Yeah.
to the provider.
So how would you like that provider to just call our office?
Yes.
All right. So if you are a provider that is having an issue like that, then you can call our outreach office and we can actually put our numbers. And I don't know if Nicole, if you would mind doing that, but if you can put our phone number, our outreach and our TA line in the chat so people can contact us.
Stick
And
that
if it's
outreach.
not our purview, we can give you the number of who you can call. What were you gonna say, Karen?
Stick the outreach number in there for now.
Excellent, thank you. Oh, what happens if you accept scholarship, but you don't have any current families who are using it?
Very good question.
Yeah, I mean, the question is if right now you have any families on it?
So they don't have any families utilizing it right now.
Right. So then you would say no. I know some of the funding will be based on if your program is currently has children enrolled. Other funding might be if you're an enrolled provider. So there's a various calculations, I believe.
Oh, good. And thank you. Nicole put in the outreach, the referral and consultation line for people who have more questions. Another question is it necessary to update to this level of detail if we are not a program that accepts scholarship and we're only able to opt into the ARPA funds?
They have to answer They have to update all the information in order to receive the funds.
Okay,
Yep, and they should just say no, that they don't have anybody on scholarship.
Correct.
Yeah.
They won't get those additional questions.
okay.
Right, and if they don't fill that field out, they won't be
Eligible.
opted in. So, because there's only so many fields that I can double check to see if there have been updates. And that's one that I'm looking at, because it's very easy for me to check that one field. And then I'll delete anybody who doesn't have something in that field. It should be a yes or a no.
Somebody else said there are new rates as of August 26th. So I'm not sure what payment my scholarship students will be receiving because nothing is hit yet with the new rates.
I'd go based off the old ones then. Go with what you know. That's a good question, because they did just update those rates.
A few more questions. Can we bill the grant for administrative time to conduct this task?
I don't know the answer to a question like that. I wouldn't think so, because it's quality initiatives, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, do we have to do the workforce survey or the narrow cost analysis? And I think you said just the market rate survey, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
If we are unable to save our entries, will we be ineligible for funds?
They should call the outreach office, Childcare Aware of New Hampshire, just to make sure if we can help them save that info, then we will.
Excellent. Thank you, Karen. Every family's cost share is different. So do you want us to take the average cost share from the children in our program?
So that's that math question, right, Terry?
Yeah, say it again.
Sure. Every family's cost share is different.
Yep.
So do you want us to take the average cost share from the children
Yes.
in our
And
program?
that's what it asks for. It kind of goes through the math of it.
And Nicole, do you know if there were any more questions? Oh, here's a couple more. I am enrolled in both scholarship programs, but I only have children under protective custody at the moment, which is paid in full. So there is no copay. But when I have regular scholarship children, do I charge them a copay? How do I handle this?
If you're ever charging a copay, you should say yes. And then if there currently isn't a number that you could put in on any of those, just put not applicable for each one, or zero, right? Like if you've got a child who you have on scholarship, so you're not charging a copay, and maybe they're the only one on scholarship, and they're 3, mark that one age and just say $0.
This one might have a couple different answers, but it says, I spoke with someone on Friday who said we need to update our staff roster. Do we need to delete all staff in there that are no longer employed? And then the second part is, it keeps freezing up on us.
Okay, so for the staff roster, we are not checking that in relationship to this grant, because we would literally have to look at every program's staff roster who's opted in. So that's not going to happen. So I'll just let you know that. However, what I will say is there is a licensing requirement that you notify the department when a staff person leaves. You can send them an email. You can send them a letter in the mail. You can call your licensing coordinator, or you can do it in NHCIS. We're hoping you will do it in NHCIS, and maybe just do a few at a time if you're running into an issue with that. Because we really need to get a sense of the workforce. When COVID hit and they asked how many people worked in childcare, we had to guess. And this, really lets us know how many people are working, where are they? Where are the deserts? How long do people stay in the field? And we cannot track that if the staff rosters aren't kept up to date.
Here's another one. What's the difference between infants, toddlers, and preschool groups? I'm trying to understand how they're broken down so I can match them on my end because we have 3 other age groups.
So in the program profile, there's the little question mark right next to the age groups. And you just click on the question mark and it breaks down how the ages are broken down.
Let's see. A couple people had said things like, and I think you already said this, but just to reiterate, it says, will the updated date be updated once complete? Or will the update
Yes,
be update? Yes.
yes.
And there will be nothing that will go out telling people that it's updated. But I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, Karen and Terry, you can scroll down and you can check, and at the bottom there will be a date saying when it was updated, correct, and who updated it.
Well, I know on our end, yes. I don't know on the user's end, but I do know that tile will say last updated and a date on it.
Excellent. And here's one I think we talked about too in the office. What if nothing has changed since we completed the market rate survey in the spring? Do I just edit it and then save the current information? And I believe you said yes, go in,
Yeah,
and even
that
if
would be
it's
great.
0, put 0 and save it.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's really important to know too. So if your vacancies were 0 in the spring and they're still 0 today, you really need to go in today and put zeros in again and then save it today so that Terry knows you updated it today.
Mhm. So it looks like here, there's a couple more questions. If you offer scholarship, but you only have children in one category, do you still have to list what the copay is for the other categories?
No, just put NA.
This I think kind of relates to us, Karen. Will your staff have the availability to respond in a timely manner to technical assistance requests before the deadline?
We're here all day today, tomorrow,
We've
and
been-
Wednesday.
Yeah, we've been taking questions through phone, through the TA line, I'm sure through yours, so we're here.
Yep.
Chelsea said, back to the age group classification, she said that she cannot see a question mark. She can't see where the question mark is next to it.
In the program profile.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to show that or.
I believe it might also be in the guide.
And while you're doing that, I just want to say that Marcia said that I was correct, that users can see the last updated date on the very top and the bottom of the profile.
Great.
So I'll wait for you, Karen, and then I have another couple questions here.
I can share my screen real quick and show where that question mark is, if that helps.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
I think it's in the guide as well, though.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's right here. When you're here on the ages served and capacity, there's a little question mark. When you are in the market rate survey and it asks about the rates, it will specifically detail out the ages in different sections. So initially when I had these set up, I went with the licensing age ranges, but then it seems that the federal government does different age ranges. So it's different in a couple different places. So it helps if you just double check. A lot of times we have put that range right there, but for this section about ages and capacity, it's right up here in the question mark.
The other thing, Terry, before you get out of there, I was wondering, somebody had a question about being able to see that date that shows where it's updated. Do you have a, will you be able to show that?
So you are saying somewhere here, which I don't see that. Well, this shows the workforce survey. This is But I know when I go to this home screen and I look at the childcare profile tab,
Yeah, right
see
on.
how it has last updated 9/9/2024 right here.
It's right on their dashboard.
Yeah.
And Melissa said, if that date is updated, does that mean we met the requirements?
Only if you've filled out all the required fields. So it's not, it's going to tell you you've updated something. And that's the thing that I'm going to have to go through is look and see that all the fields have been updated. So just check your work.
Yeah, and Kitty said too, be sure to click the save button
Yes.
at the top. I love the fact that people that have been doing this for a long time are on this call too, so they can say that. Be sure to save. Elaine said, if I understand correctly, I am approved for scholarship. Oh, no, you already had said that. You already answered this, but she said, just to reiterate, in case anyone wants to know, she's approved for scholarship, but she does not have anyone, so she puts no on the question.
Right. If she doesn't have anyone currently enrolled, she would say no.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to laugh, but Kitty said, checking and rechecking. She's like, save it.
Yeah.
Jamie said, I've had my hand raised for a little while here. Will I have a chance to, sure, you can ask that question. Go ahead, Jamie.
Hi, thank you. We're a new model over in Londonderry where we're a little bit unique where the rates vary depending on the number of hours that a customer books. I guess due to that model, it looks like we can't fill any of this out. Since the answer to every one of the questions would be, it depends on how many hours the booking was for. I'm just wondering if there's I guess, a solution for centers like mine that don't fit into the traditional childcare model.
So her program is hourly, Terry. So would we say maybe to do like an 8-hour day to get a ballpark idea to fit her in
But is that for the rates section?
for the, tuition rates?
Right. And we can't, and it's not going to save it. It doesn't seem to be saving the rates.
Okay.
But yes, I guess that's what I would do.
So it's not based on the number of hours in a day, it's based on the number of hours that the family purchases for the whole month.
Oh.
Kids can come whenever they need it throughout that month.
Oh, cool. Yeah, this is certainly an area that we're gonna have to get much more feedback from all of you as to the different types of rates and structures. This was developed way back in 2019, I think.
Yeah, I think I know this is more of a unique question for us, so I don't want to take up too much time here, but for next steps for my particular center, is there somebody that I would talk to? Because I did actually go in and try to do this and it just isn't applicable to our model. So I quite literally can't fill it out the way it's written. But I obviously want to be considered. So I don't know what the solution is for a center like mine.
But you can fill out the other sections, right?
I just can't fill out the market rate survey.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd have to. Okay. Well, I guess hopefully childcare Aware can help you. Unfortunately, I'm not available all day today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So, but certainly, Karen and you guys just like email me questions and I'll try to get to the ones I can. I've got, obviously, with this and other things going on at the same time, I'm overbooked.
Yeah, and thank you for just being on the call, Terry. Do you mind
Yeah,
answering
no
a couple
problem.
more questions?
Sure.
Thank you. And I think this is probably something that a lot of people are kind of worried about, and I don't even think you have the answer to this. I don't, but will there be consideration given to someone who's made changes but maybe missed something? So that missing information can be filled in before being ineligible for the grant?
I can't answer that question. I don't know how, right, there's a certain amount of funding that we need to expend in a very short period of time. And this is how we're determining who we're providing funding to, is based on, you know, their opting into the program. So certainly once I start looking at the data on Thursday morning and we have it all, we can see what that looks like. But I know that the message that was going out was it's all or nothing, you're in or you're out. But I know that the real world doesn't operate that way 100% of the time. So I really can't tell you if we're gonna, how much flexibility there'll be, if any.
And then I just wanted to ask a couple of people who have their hands raised. Melissa, did you still have a question?
I do. So in the section for the like the ages served and capacity or the other information, when you get in the other information, like for transportation, if you don't have transportation, there's no spot to say none. Do you just leave it blank?
You just leave it blank, yes.
And the same thing for like special needs. So any spots that you don't meet the criteria, you leave blank.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And Jane, did you have a question you'd like to ask? Maybe she can't hear me. I'll go on to Sandy for right now. Sandy, did you still have a question that you'd like to ask? Maybe she can't hear either. How about Laura? Laura, did you have a question that you'd like to ask?
Hi, Stephanie. I do. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is in the area where the question asks, do you currently receive CCDF scholarship reimbursement? We obviously do. And then the second question, do you charge families the difference between scholarship reimbursement and tuition rates? We charge the families their cost share. You're required to charge them their cost share. Right now with the rate changes that just happened, we don't have a copay on top of it. So when it asks you charge the families the difference, are you asking the copay, or, which we don't have, or the state determined cost share?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Only because, I mean,
yeah,
I don't mind answering it. My question goes back to that this is a huge project for directors and owners, and we have over 70 children that we bill for each week. If you want me to average out what their cost share is, you know, it becomes a project. I don't mind doing it to receive these funds, but I'd like to know beforehand, before I take time out of, you know, certain people's day to get this info. The state already knows what people's cost share is. They're the ones that are telling us this info.
right. So only put it if you're charging above and beyond the cost share.
Only if we're charging any sort of copay, which
Yes,
we don't now because of the rate, the
right.
scholarship rate changes. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you
Which
very
is
much.
great. That's what we're looking for. That's
Great.
what we want to know. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Kelly, you have your hand raised too.
I know it's up again. I just wanted to ask if I call technical assistance and hopefully ask them to like walk me through certain spots, are they able to tell me and confirm that I've completed it correctly and opted in?
So we can tell you everything except for we can't see what you've done on the market rate survey, but we
Okay.
can walk you through it.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm not sure if we got every question answered. Nicole, thank you so much for helping in the chat. Anybody else have any questions that they feel really need to be answered on this call? Because of course you can also give us a call too. We put our phone number in the chat. And again, we're also going to send out an email with this information with the recording as well.
Hey, Stephanie, it's Dee Dee.
Hi.
I just wanted to say thank you to Karen and to Terry, who jumped on last minute to help us with sharing out this information, and to our whole team who has been working pretty tirelessly since the letter went out to, work to get emails out, phone calls out, pull this webinar together. We're all in this together, and we're doing the best that we can to get everybody updated and the system going and all that. So I just want to say appreciation to everybody and appreciation to you guys in the field. I know sometimes these processes aren't easy, but we are going to do the best that we can to support you whenever we can. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Stephanie, I do have a quick question, if you can
Sure.
hear me. I'm sorry, I was not unmuted. I thought you guys did it. So on the cost share, scholarship cost share, I do have kids that come, but they don't have a cost share. But our policy is that if they had a cost share, we would charge it. So I did answer yes, we do charge the cost share. But then they asked me what the cost share is, and it's 0, but it won't take the 0.
Oh,
So at this
I guess
point,
just say NA.
but it wouldn't let me do anything but take a number. So like I just tried it, hypothetically plugged in $15. It took that, but that's not what, right at this current point, that family is not getting charged anything because their cost share is 0. I have quite a few more kiddos now that have 0 cost share.
So then choose the NA option, and then it won't require you to fill anything in
So
for that age group.
I didn't even see an age group because we were after school.
Right. Well, so when it asks about the cost share, it says, how much do you charge? And then it's got a bunch of different age groups, 0 to 17 months, 18 to 35, 36 to 78, and
Right,
79 to 155. Right to the left of each of those boxes is a box that says NA. So if you don't have anyone that you're charging for in those age groups, click the NA.
Okay, but that still records that I have some because I want to be considered that I am
Yes.
servicing children.
Yep. And
Okay.
they'll be pulling a report from it's a different system that links the children to the programs. So we'll
Okay.
be getting a separate report about that as well.
Okay, and then as far as the pricing goes, we at the our before and after school, we have several different prices. We have morning, afternoon, and if they come both, and we have a month family discount. So will I just wait and see what you guys do with the pricing?
Yeah, I mean, and it looks like somebody else just mentioned that they were able to update it. It could be a traffic thing. It could be that you have to, clear your cache on your computer, which there is information in the NHCIS guide on how to do that. Try a different browser like Firefox or something, or an incognito window. Because I know for myself, because I'm in this all the time, and then I have multiple sandboxes and fake users and everything else, I end up with a lot of issues where I can't do things because my cache is all full with a lot of garbage. So it does seem that some people are able to update it. Do the best you can.
Okay.
And then obviously if it's not 100% accurate and you don't want that posted on childcare search for families to see, then make sure you click the button that says to redact the fees.
Okay. All right, I'll give it my best. I'm not very computer savvy, but I'll
That's
do what I
fine.
can.
Thank you, Jane. I appreciate your efforts.
So we were supposed to get off the call at 1:30 and it's 1:36. We do have a few more questions. I'm not sure if you want to continue answering them or if you'd like people to give Childcare Aware a call. What are your thoughts, Terry and Karen?
I have 15 more minutes.
So maybe we say, if you would like to stay on the call, you're welcome. And if you need to go, when you get off of the call, a survey will pop up. And if you could just answer that survey, we would be very grateful. Also, you will be getting professional development hours for this. And if you are watching the recording, you can fill out a self-study sheet as well. So thank you so much, and we will continue with the questions. Just a couple more questions, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I think it has more to do with being notified on funding and how much the funding will be. And again, I don't know if you know when that will be.
Right. I'm not sure how they're going to notify people. What I do know is that there is a certain amount of funding available, and this is the first step to calculating that out, right? If I had $100 and everyone who did it was going to get a portion of the $100, I can't tell you how much you're going to get until I know how many people opt in. And then it will be based on program size. And then I know there is some funding that's very specific to GSQ programs or License Plus programs. So there's a couple different funding streams. And once everybody opts in, then they'll start doing the math to figure out which funding streams people are eligible for, which I believe you might be eligible for more than one, and then calculating that based on different formulas.
Let's see. Somebody said, oh, going back to the cost share question, does answering yes mean we charge the copay?
Well, the question is, do you have anyone on scholarship? So that's a yes or no question. And then do you charge beyond the cost share? Yes or no? And then if you say yes, then you would identify how much your charge, your averages.
Okay. Oh, you already answered that one. Laura Pelletier said, I thought we weren't supposed to put in the cost share amount, just the copay.
Yeah, it's what you charge above and beyond, I believe, the copay, because it's a cost share. I think of it as balanced billing, like if you go to the chiropractor and then they add a massage on there, right? You might have a $15 copay, but they're going to charge you the extra $60 or whatever.
Yep.
That's how I was able to get it straight in my mind.
Alyssa asked, I got a grant last year for ARPA. How do I file what I spent and where I spent?
I have no idea. There's probably an email address somewhere that you asked that question.
I think on New Hampshire Connections, there is
Yeah.
information about the ARPA.
And if that's it, I think we're done with the questions. Does anybody else have a question?
There's 2 hands up, Stephanie.
Yes, I did ask them. I did ask Melissa and Sandy already. Sandy, do you still have a question? I hadn't heard back from you. Oh, I think you're on mute. I think you're still on mute, Sandy.
There you are. Now you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. My question is I just went back and I was trying, because I've been having trouble with it saying when the hours of operation, it says that I cannot put in, I put in that we're a full year program, but then when I go to put in my days, it tells me I can't put in the same full year program. So I'm just not sure how to correct that. And there's no garbage button to like.
But I
start
just
that
need to make
process
sure,
over.
how can I make, I wanna, raise my hand.
So you're saying that you created one full year schedule thing and you can't delete that full year schedule?
Correct. I guess because I just wanted to make sure that I did it correctly.
Mhm.
So when I go in to put my days and my hours, it tells me that I can't put in that section that I'm a full year program, because I've already clicked that first.
Oh.
So wait, I had that issue in the beginning and asked that question and we couldn't figure it out. And I think I figured it out. You
Okay,
have to get out of the section, go back in it because you have to go to edit. So you can't just go to the ad because it won't work. You have to go to edit.
okay,
And then when you go to edit, it says something like full year schedule, go to the plus sign on the left-hand side.
okay.
Then it will let you do it all.
All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look at everybody helping everybody. Awesome.
Also, I wanted to say too that a lot of people asked for certificates, but we will be giving you, or you will get professional development hours in NHCIS in the registry within 2 days. You'll be seeing this if you're live. Any other questions that people have before we end this call? Karen, did you have a question? I see Karen's hands up, but I think. Okay.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. Your video is stopped.
Yes, your question?
I'm sorry. So we have 5 locations, but only one resource ID that we do billing for state scholarship on. But the one main location is the only one that has that resource ID, but all the other locations, we do accept scholarships. So I didn't know how to qualify that in all of our tiles that we have to update.
You should still be able to enter the information and respond that you do accept scholarship.
And as long, and they see that we have one location that does the billing for that with the one resource ID.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, because
Yeah.
we didn't base our resource IDs on each location. We just do it for the one business.
Right. I'm probably not the only one, so that's a good point.
Okay. All right. So we should be all set.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Terry, for coming out and answering questions today. You were so helpful. And thank you again, Karen. And also, again, we're going to be sending out an email with the recording and with some resources and the phone numbers for you to contact outreach. And if you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to contact us as well at Chunky.
I have one more quick thing.
Sure.
When you go in and we were talking about the dates. So my date is changing on my tile, but then when I go down and I scroll all the way down where it says WFS last modified, it still has the previous date. Is that something to worry about or not?
No, because that's specific to the workforce survey.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks again, everybody, for coming out, and have a great rest of your day.
Enjoy your day.